Good morning. We're continuing on with the 72 Chevelle. We have some hood hinges, we have the latch assembly, and we have the adjusters. We got these all from Motorsports. The thing I like about these hood hinges is they're billet aluminum. They're much sturdier. I mean, the quality is just amazing. I really like these hinges. The problems I was having with the original ones, I sent them off to get rebuilt. It didn't matter. The springs, I changed the springs out. The hood was just too heavy and there was too much side-to-side play. So switching over to these billet aluminum hood hinges, I'm really excited about this, and I'm sure you guys will be too. But I'll go ahead and show you how to put it together, get it installed. It's very easy. I don't have any issues with any of this stuff. The directions are very clear, and without further ado, let's get into it. When you guys unpack your hood hinges and struts, you'll see that there's retaining clips in this, retaining pins, and basically what these do is they lock around the collar of this ball stud. So you go ahead and take both of them out of both ends of the strut itself. You're going to put a little bit of grease on the head of these ball studs. And you want to pay attention to how you mount this. What we're going to do is we're going to put the body on the stationary piece of the hood hinge itself. And the rod end is going to go on the moving piece. The reason we do that is when it's closed, this will actually be facing downhill, and we want the body to protect the rod. So that way it travels down, the grease travels down as it slides down this rod, and it keeps it lubricated. So you're just going to pop these on, they clip right on. You're going to open this other end by opening this hood hinge until it fits that strut itself. That's going to pop in just like that. Next, we're going to slide these retaining pins in. Slide from underneath the collar. Clips down around the outside. Same here on the other side. Find the hole. Take it nice and slow. Slides in, clips in, and you're done. Now that we have the hood hinges together, we're going to go ahead and throw it on the car. As you can see, these holes are oblong, so that allows the bolt to slide up and down to make fine-tune adjustments. Basically, if the cowl end of the hood is too high, we can lower this back, just shifting it back. Using this hole that's provided, right, the oblong hole, we can shift this back and lower the back end of the cowl. So we can tweak these to make fine adjustments. Again, 7/30 seconds. Recommended that you lube these bolts just to keep from cross-threading because they are stainless. We don't want to mess up the original threads that are there. We have the hood staged on top of the roof, and now that I have my neighbor here, one thing you have on a military base is plenty of people to help. So he's going to help me slide it over. We're going to put these bolts in, put both sides in, and knock it out. So what I did was I put tape around the back corner of the hood itself, and I put tape on the fenders to keep from scratching anything up. Now what you want to do is wrap one hand around, support the weight of the hood underneath, and then use your head to help balance the hood latch area, because the longest part of the hood is the heaviest part. So you'll both get one bolt started at a time. Once your partner has his first bolt started, then you guys can both put in the second bolt. And you can shift from side to side as you close the hood a couple times. There's about a 1/16 inch of play in that hood hinge itself, and you can shift it over to get it perfectly aligned between the fenders. The important thing here is just to take your time, and it's going to take many adjustments. I finally got the hood hinge installed. It took several trial and error attempts. The issue I was running into is it was making contact with the hood on the firewall. Now, this is a frame-off job. It's completely been rotisserie. It's all brand new metal, and I already had issues before when I was mounting the body to the frame. So I knew that there might be some panel alignment issues, and my first instinct was to blame these hinges for the hood not sitting down all the way. But what I ended up doing was, if you follow the directions, it tells you that raising and lowering the front bolt will also help it sit lower, help the back of the hood, right, closest to the windshield, sit lower. So if you pay attention to these brackets, they're L-shaped or they're angle-shaped brackets, and they actually wrap over the firewall to help avoid contact with the firewall itself. So it wraps over and down. And as this hood sits down, it sits back. So very fine adjustments make a big difference. But I was going back and forth from side to side trying to figure out where the contact was happening, why it wouldn't sit level no matter what I did. It ended up being that when I took off the grill, I could look through the grill and I could see I was making contact with the firewall. It was the hood making contact with the firewall. It had nothing to do with these hinges, right? Because this is all brand new metal and it's never been aligned, I didn't have the original lines I could have made with the original brackets to put it on and be done with it. This job, I think, is supposed to take about an hour. It's taken me 5-10 times that because I had issues before we even started. So once you get these on, I had to put clay down. I had to put, actually used Play-Doh. I put Play-Doh down at the end of these brackets just to make sure that contact wasn't happening, it wasn't a contact issue. And sure enough, I found that in the center of my hood I was making contact with the firewall. It had nothing to do with the hinges themselves. After fixing that problem, and like I said, I looked through the grill. Once I removed the grill, I looked through the grill and fixed my contact issues on the firewall itself simply by rolling the lip of the firewall. And now that everything's right, I had to let out my fenders just a little bit in the front to get the hood to sit right. We're going to go ahead and move on to putting the latch on, the latch assembly, and these stoppers. At this point, we're going to go ahead and put these stoppers in place. I ordered these with the hood hinges and latch assembly. We want to solve one issue at a time, right? So we're going to do these stoppers first, and then we'll throw this latch assembly on. The tape is crucial. Make sure you guys use fender tape or yellow tape, blue tape, whatever you're using, better to help keep you from scratching anything. So you can start with the stoppers all the way down and slowly turn it a quarter turn out until you get it seated where you want it. Now, what I did was I adjusted my stopper until right before, so as the hood is just a little bit higher than the fender, because what happens as you tighten it down is it's got a bushing on the bottom of it. It's going to screw it all in together and you'll get it seated just where you want it by, if it's a little high, as you tighten it down, it'll sit perfect. So we have the latch assembly here. It comes with 3 13/16 Allen key bolts, right? And then you use a 3/4. It's got a nut on it to secure it in place. Use a flathead to screw the bolt in itself, and it's very straightforward to get installed. After we have it loosely mounted, we're going to take a permanent marker, or a dry erase marker rather, and we're going to mark the back of this catch pin. The reason why we're doing this is we want to make sure that the latch assembly, or not the latch assembly, but the catch is hitting the center as possible, so that way we know if we need to slide our bracket over. When it starts making contact, right, we pulled our release, pushed all the way down. It's caught in the release right now, so we want to rub it a couple times, up and down, bring it back up, and inspect the back of this pin. Now I can see that it's hitting right in the center, so I know this is a good position. The only thing left to do is now adjust the depth. So use a flathead to screw this in, and use a 3/4 wrench to secure it. So we'll adjust it out a little bit, push it down. It's not enough, we'll do it again. So we want to adjust it till it catches and it's making contact on both sides with our stoppers. And that's perfect. There's no play left. It's secure. Release it, and there you go, we're done. Thanks for checking out this video. If you guys have any issues with the installation, just make sure you check out the instructions. It has everything you need for troubleshooting, and it would solve most of your problems. But if you're like us and you had to take apart your whole front clip, you have an alignment issues, That stuff may not be in the instructions, so feel free to ask me any questions below and I'll respond as quickly as possible. Again, I'm very happy with this kit, with the hinges and the hood latch assembly, the stoppers. Eddie Motorsports definitely had everything I needed for that. We have a lot more stuff to do in this build, so if you want to watch any more videos or follow along, feel free to subscribe or watch the next video.